Hello! I'm Julian Greystoke, an indie author and developmental editor, and if you're new to my channel, I talk a lot about all things writerly and bookish, so if this is the first video you found, feel free to wander around. There is a lot of information on my channel. Longtime viewers may know that I have kind of talked about this stuff before, but I was just looking at my channel and apparently I've never just done this as a video, just put all this information in the same place, or at least not for a really long time. I have a super old video where I talk about beta readers, but it's super old. So I figured I would come back and talk about beta readers and a little bit about alpha readers and maybe a little bit about critique partners. Just gonna cover all of that. You know, what are they? How do you find them? What do they do? How to tell if you have a good one? There's so much. I do have a video that explains some ways that you can tell if someone's giving you bad faith critique, so I'm not going to go super deep into that because that video exists. So you can go watch that one after you watch this one if you want to continue that train of thought. But today we're talking all about beta readers because trust me, you want them. If you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm the special exception that probably doesn't need beta readers, friend, I'm going to ask you to pause and maybe rethink that. If you believe that you can publish your book without any help, I have bad news. But what the heck are beta readers, Julian? Well, beta readers are readers that read your book before it's done. It's like beta testers for video games. They're there to read it and find the bugs and the errors and to help you make your book better. Now, the thing about beta readers to remember is that they are normally just readers. They oftentimes can be fellow writers because a lot of times beta readers can be friends or people you know, and if you're a writer, you probably know fellow writers. But first and foremost, beta readers are readers. They are here to give a reader's reaction to your story. Some are going to be super in-depth, some are going to be a little bit more broad and shallow. That's okay, a wide range is usually appreciated. Beta readers are not here to be your professional editors or to correct your spelling and grammar. You're going to still probably want to hire at least one professional editor somewhere in this process if you are self-publishing. If you're not, I still recommend getting a line editor. I still do, because a lot of agents, they won't tell you this, but they are looking for fairly clean drafts when you send it to them, so I would still consider hiring that. But a beta reader is going to be somebody who reads it before you send it to agents, and certainly before you self-publish it. I haven't planned this video out, as per usual, so I hope that the sequence I go in makes sense. Now that you kind of have an idea what a beta reader is, who are they? Well, you've got some options. Now, friends and family are always a great option as beta readers. However, do know that friends and family may be more inclined to be kinder than a stranger from the internet might be. And friends and family also might have heard about the book, have been around for you talking about the book and your intentions for it, and so they might not be able to give you as objective of a reading as you need. That depends very highly on the friends and family. I use my husband as an alpha reader, that is someone who reads the book when it is in its very, very first crunchiest state, and he's not afraid to tell it like it is and tell me when something's not working. But some friends and family members are going to sugarcoat, are going to tell you it looks amazing. You don't want that as a general rule. Now, it can be nice to have at least one family member who is going to tell you that they love the book, just, for your own mental health. For example, I give my books to my mother. She is my ideal reader. So I know that her comments are going to mostly be, I loved it, this was great. And so I mostly use her as an example of A, my ideal reader, and B, whenever I'm feeling really down about some more negative notes that I've gotten, I can go look at her notes and make myself feel better. But for the most part, you want people who are going to be fair and thoughtful, but not sugarcoat and not hold your hand. If that is a pain that you're pretty sure you can't handle, you can still go ahead and publish your thing that no one else has looked at if you want to, but then you're gonna have to get all of these opinions in the reviews instead of beforehand when you can still fix things. Anyway, so friends and family. You've got some friends and family, or you don't. Maybe you don't want to use friends and family, or maybe friends and family just have no interest in reading for you. That's pretty normal too. Do not be surprised if your friends and family don't actually want to beta read for you. You're not alone. It's not only you who has this problem. 99% of my friends and family don't read my books at all at any stage in the process. Anyway, so you've either gotten some friends and family or you haven't, but you want some more outside voices, which is a good idea. Some people don't enlist the help of strangers at all, and that's fine. That is up to you. I like to get some strangers in the mix. I like to get some people who have no reason to protect my feelings, who are just gonna tell it like it is. This is where the video about identifying bad faith critique is gonna come in handy.
Also, people ask, should I only enlist beta readers who read and enjoy my genre? And well, yes, I do think that you should try to stack your beta readers with people who at least like the genre that you're writing in. Sometimes it can be helpful to have a couple of people who don't read the genre to give you a really outside look at it. Sometimes they come up with ideas that the people who are more familiar with the genre might not come up with. But in general, you want to focus on mostly getting people who read and enjoy the genre that your book is.
And how many you want is a little bit up to you. Some people will claim you only need 3 or 4. I like to get as many as possible so I can get more of an overview. The more betas I have, the more data I have, the more numbers I have. Because like I said, these people are not your developmental editor. They are here for like numbers on a graph. If you have 5 betas and all of them say that they're having a problem with chapter 2, that probably means that chapter 2 needs to be looked at. If you have 5 betas and only one of them is having a problem with chapter 2 might actually be fine, and that one beta just didn't really like it. So I feel that the more betas I can have, the more data I have in my pocket. Where the heck do you find these people? Well, there's a lot of different options. Social media is pretty much the best way to get them. What I would advise you include in a post looking for beta readers is a quick enticing blurb about what your work in progress is about. You know, you want details like genre, word count, potentially trigger warnings if you want to. You wouldn't have to, but just like a little blurb, give people an idea of what it's about to entice them to maybe want to read it early in its crunchy state. Feel free to post more than once. I have seen people post that they're looking for beta readers one time and then get upset when they don't get any responses. Really get it out there onto all of the social media that you can, that you're looking for beta readers. Especially if you have social media that's already dedicated to your writing, if you have any kind of following, definitely hit that up. Twitter used to be a really good place to get beta readers, and it might still be, but I stay off of Twitter these days. But you can check out pretty much whatever social media you feel comfortable on. And like I said, keep hitting it. Don't just post once and assume, well, nobody said anything, and so I'll just have no beta readers. Keep trying, especially if you're a smaller creator. Another place that I've seen people seek out beta readers is places like Reddit and places like Goodreads. So also try checking out those places. In fact, there are whole groups on Goodreads where you can seek out beta readers. I don't usually use those, so I don't know how successful they are, but they might work out well for you. But now that you have presumably gotten a few nibbles at the very least for people who are interested in beta reading the book, what do you do now? Well, this is where a lot of people's strategies differ, and as you write more books, you'll figure out what works best for you. So I'm just going to tell you what I do, and you can feel free to steal my method, or you can look around and see what other methods other authors are using. My method goeth thusly. I seek out betas, tell them what the book is about. I am not picky about who volunteers to be a beta for me. I ask them, hey, message me your email address. Also, give me some information like, have you ever beta read for me before? If so, which book did you beta read and did you finish it? If they are brand spanking new and have never beta read for me before, I send them the first 3 chapters. I'm doing this all in Google Docs, by the way. I used to do this in like Word and send them like actual documents, but Google Docs actually works much better for this, I have found. And everybody gets their own individual Google Doc. One time I tried it where everybody's in the same Google Doc. That was a mess, not doing that. So everybody gets their own individual. If they're brand new and have never read for me before or never finished for me before, I send them the first 3 chapters. This is my method of making sure that they're serious. Some people use a whole questionnaire to make sure that their betas are serious, and you can totally do that too. But I send them the first 3 chapters, and if they send me back thoughtful feedback in a timely fashion, I'm going to assume that they're serious about wanting to beta read for me and not just trying to steal my book or something. Because like that's a lot of effort to like steal my book, to leave me thoughtful, timely feedback. So if they do leave me the feedback on the first 3 chapters, I send them the rest. Now, if I have a beta reader who I've worked with before, if you're new to this, obviously you won't, but if I have a beta reader that I've worked with before, they say, hey, I've read for you before, I finished this book. I keep a spreadsheet of betas for every book, so I go into the spreadsheet and I look at my notes about this beta, like, were they somebody who left me thoughtful, helpful advice? Yes, if so, I can send them the whole book in their own Google Doc. I also give them a pretty generous deadline, because here's the thing about beta readers. They are going to volunteer with the best of intentions. They think that they can totally read and critique your book in a month, and it's going to be amazing, or even weeks. They'll even say that. That's probably not going to happen. It is going to take your beta readers longer than they thought it was going to read and critique your book. And that might be disappointing to hear because you want feedback now, and some of them will go through it faster than others, but I really recommend give them at least a month, if not longer. I usually give them 2, sometimes 3 months, depending on the length of the book. I had a novella where I think I gave people a month, but like I give them a lot of time and I try to be very flexible and very understanding. If they have to quit, I encourage them to message me and let me know instead of just disappearing into the ether, and I'm never ever angry or aggressive with them ever, no matter what. All right, so now you have some beta readers. Good for you. What do you do about the book? You've sent it to them, but what if you have specific questions you want them to ask and look out for? Well, before I send my book out to betas, I go through it and I make a beta version where I include questions and things I maybe want betas to pay special attention to. Also, I will put in a little introduction that tells them what I am most interested in feedback on. Hey, I really, really want you to pay special attention to the main character. Are they interesting? Are they holding your attention? And if not, what would help? That sort of thing. So you go and you put that in there before you send off to your beta readers. But also, I encourage betas to comment within the text as much as they want. Like if there's a line that doesn't make sense, if there's something they think is funny or something that's not really working for them, I want them to leave a comment about it right there in the text. And that's another great thing that Google Docs is good at, because you can, let them leave comments. When you're sending out the Google Docs, remember to edit your permissions so that they can leave the comments. Nothing is more annoying than going to open a Google Doc and finding out you don't have permission. Some people are more elaborate with the questions that they ask, and I used to do this thing where I would ask questions after every chapter, but I've stopped doing that because that was a little bit too much. And it's hard for people to form an opinion about every chapter. So instead, I leave it at intervals. Like after the first 3 chapters, I leave a little check-in. I might check in at the halfway mark, or after a scene that I'm particularly unsure about, I'll leave a little check-in to be like, hey, is this working? And at the very end of the book, I leave a long check-in that asks them questions about the book as a whole, including things like, were there any threads that you felt were dropped? Was there anything else that you wish had been included but wasn't? If you found this book on the shelf and all of the errors were fixed, would you have kept reading it? Things like that. Okay, cool. You've got your beta readers, you've given them their deadline, you have your questions all in the text, and you've sent it out. Now what? Now you wait. Sometimes I keep up with the comments as they come in, and sometimes I don't, whatever is less overwhelming for me at any given time. But for the most part, I kind of peek in, little sneaky peeks at the comments to get sort of a general idea of how things are going, but save the big in-depth going through the comments until everyone is finished. Now, I will say this, I do not comment back. I let my beta readers know that that's going to be the case, unless they have a very, very specific question for me, like, hey, I'm running late, is that okay? I don't comment back. Personally, I find that silently taking your critique is much more helpful and ultimately healthier than trying to push back against your readers. You're not going to be able to do that once your book is published, so I recommend not doing it when your beta readers are going through. Some people may vehemently disagree with me on this point, but I find that if I feel like I can comment back, then I spend way too much time going, oh, well, here's the reason. Oh, but you just didn't get it. But if it's not in the book, if the thing they're not getting isn't on the page, no amount of me telling them that they interpreted it wrong off page is going to help my book. Remember that your beta readers are data. If they are saying, hey, this isn't working for me, but they're the only person saying it, it's probably just them and their taste. If they are saying, hey, this isn't working for me, and most of your betas are saying it, that's probably something that you as the author need to figure out how to fix. Now, if you want to, you can then ask the beta reader, hey, I agree, this might be a problem. Do you have any suggestions for what you would like to see. You don't have to take their suggestions, but you can ask that sort of thing. Or for clarification, like, hey, you said this and I didn't really understand what that meant. Can you clarify? But really, 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 I beg you to resist the urge to no but them. Don't come in and be like, no, but you just didn't get it. No, but this happens here. No, but this. No, but this. Just let them keep reading the book and see if their questions are answered by the book. And if they are not, then you might need to go in and put them into the book. All we have is the text. Does that make sense? So I, again, strongly urge you, I'm not your mom, I can't make you, but I urge you not to comment back to your betas unless you just need clarification. Even if the beta says something that seems completely out of pocket, even if the beta says something that is so unhelpful, you have no idea where they got it from, just, put it aside and keep on walking. So your betas have finished. That's exciting. You've probably lost several along the way, some who've told you they have to quit and some who have just ghosted you. This is normal. Pretty much everyone, no matter who they are, loses beta readers along the way. Feel free, and what I like to do at like the halfway point is to poke any beta readers who don't seem to be reading. Like I want to check in with them and be like, hey, do you remember you volunteered to do this? So I give them a gentle nudge. If I get no response from the gentle nudge, I leave them alone. I assume I've been ghosted, and that's fine. That's another reason that I like to get a lot of beta readers, as many as I can, because I understand that some of them are just going to disappear and I'll never hear from them again. Most of my betas who quit actually never started reading the book. That's the thing. Some people, they have every good intention in the world to help you out with your book, and they've just realized that they don't have time or energy to do it after all, and that's okay. That's how life works. And of course, you will have people who have to stop reading part way because of various factors that you can't control, and usually neither can they. But hopefully you've gotten some beta feedback. Yes, hooray. What I do then, and this is the slow and painstaking process that can be kind of hard on your heart, but you have to do it, go through all of the beta notes. I recommend taking your time. I see people going through all of their notes in one day, and I'm like, that sounds so exhausting on a number of levels. So I recommend going nice and slow. And what I usually do is I have a physical notebook next to me. And as I'm reading, I fix any small things. Like if somebody's like, hey, this sentence is confusing, I can go in right away into the text and fix it. Or if it's a large thing, like a structural thing that I might want to change later, I write it down in my physical notebook, because then I can go through all of the big changes, decide what I want for sure to do and not do, and then make those big changes within the book. And then as I'm going through, after I've read the note in the Google Doc, I check it off as like completed so that I feel like I'm making progress as I go, because I still have the note here in my notebook next to me. Once I have compiled all of my data, all of my notes, I also mark in my spreadsheet whether the beta reader finished, whether they were perhaps bad faith. I have marked a few people. That doesn't happen super often, but I have marked a few people as bad faith and been like, do not ask this beta reader back. One of the questions I ask at the end is, would you read for me again? And if anybody says yes, I mark down yes, they would, so that I can contact them next time and tap them again to see if they want to beta read for me for the next book. But there you go. I have gone through the beta process with you, at least how I do it. I encourage you to make modifications that work best for you and your book, whatever those may be. I spent a lot of trial and error and multiple books figuring out how I like to do it. So it might take you a little while to get the calibration exactly right, but the biggest thing is that you make yourself as easy as possible to work with. Always be kind, thoughtful, as prompt as you can with answering people, and honest about like your own expectations as well as any limitations you might be having. Also, I mentioned that I would talk about alpha readers and critique partners. Those are sort of a subset of beta readers. Alpha readers are the people who either read your book as you're writing it or like right after you've written it. We're talking draft 0 here. Often those are close writer friends or family, somebody that you very, very much trust to give like their first impressions, first thought on the story. Like I said, I usually use my husband. Sometimes I can find like one other alpha reader who's like interested, but most of the time it's just my husband. You don't always even need alpha readers. That's up to you. Now, what about critique partners? Critique partners are tough, and I don't have one, and I don't know if I'll ever have one again. because a critique partner is a fellow writer, and the both of you pass your works back and forth and critique each other's works. The issue that I have found is you want a critique partner who's like roughly at the same level as you are, which sounds kind of elitist, like get on my level, but it's true. There are different like levels of writing. If you're just starting out, you kind of want a critique partner who's also just starting out, so you can kind of help each other level up and move up. If you are someone with a lot more experience and your critique partner is just starting out, you, the person who has a lot more experience, finds that you're often doing a lot more heavy lifting to help out your critique partner who's just starting out, and the critique partner who's just starting out might be benefiting from a lot of knowledge, but also might feel that they are overwhelmed by the sheer like amount of like critique they're getting from their more experienced critique partner, or they're just not meshing language-wise, like plot-wise, like all of these things are just not meshing because you're at very different levels. Also, you want to find somebody who probably writes in your same genre, somebody who like likes your style. Like you need to find someone who's not gonna bring you down without even necessarily meaning to. And that's a problem I've had with critique partners in the past. Obviously, absolutely no shade against them. It wasn't that they were bad people, it's that we were just not in the same place as authors, and so our critiques were just not meshing with each other. You want somebody whose work you're excited to read and who is excited to read yours. When you send your work out, they're thrilled. When they send theirs out, you're thrilled. Try to find that if you are looking for a critique partner. Do you need a critique partner? No. At least I don't have one, and I'm doing okay. Now here's another question. Do you pay beta readers? This is a thorny question, but for the most part, I say no, you don't. Don't pay beta readers. They are just early readers giving you their opinions. They are not experts. Sometimes they might be. Sometimes they might be developmental editors or people with a lot more experience who you are seeking out specifically for that experience to beta read for you. But if you're just finding beta readers on the internet, don't trust Joe Schmo who has you paying for beta reading. You have no idea what their qualifications are. Go get somebody for free. It might take more legwork. It might take longer to get free beta readers, but please don't spend money. This is a place where you don't have to spend money in publishing, and I'm always looking for places where you don't have to spend money, and this is one of them. Again, if you want somebody specific, like, hey, there's a booktuber that offers beta reading, and you specifically want that booktuber's opinion, and so you're willing to pay for it, go for it. Pay editors, but really, really be cautious about paying beta readers because quality beta readers can be had for free. Now, if you're worried about being able to determine whether your beta readers are giving you good faith critique, I have a video about how to identify bad faith critique from readers, so go check that out. Also, if you are past beta readers or are just in general looking for a developmental editor, hi, I happen to be one of those. I'm going to give you in-depth critique that goes above and beyond what beta readers would give you. If you're not new to my channel and you like the critiques that you've seen me give other books here and you would like me to help out your book in that same way, but with a kinder tone, then you can hire me over on Fiverr. My rates are extremely reasonable. My timetables are pretty quick, and your first 5K words are only $25 just to try me out and see if you like working with me, if we would be a good fit. Because obviously not every editor is going to be a good fit for every author. Also, if you like checking out my writing process, follow me over on Patreon, or I have channel membership where you can see exclusive videos and not seen here on the regular channel, and some of them are about my writing. Plus, you get to support what I think is a pretty cool creator, that being me. And of course, I have several published books, so if you want to make me put my money where my mouth is, you can check out my books and see if they're any good. But I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope that collecting this all in one place was beneficial and helped some people find some betas. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, please comment below and let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And like I said, every beta process is a little bit different, so trial and error and figure out what works best for you. And I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
I've got every cigarette card they ever printed of you. My whole family took up smoking just so that we could get the whole set.
And I do it for you too, patrons.
Okay, maybe I wouldn't go quite that far, but I will read your names out so everyone can hear how awesome you are. Jennifer, Nemo, Tactical Hot Dog, Haley History Nerd, Stephanie, Pixelizzy, Raya, Christina, Cameron, Lady Kragan, Jose, Lunar Muse, AJ, Marshy, Semidark, GK, Scout, K, Annika, Jen, Gay Tutter, Tina, Laknunga, SB Boots, Martha Baggins, July, Bird Anonymous, Sarah, Cat, 78 kilograms of shade, Veda, Roma, Pantsing Pony, Haley, Sam, Kira, Kohikaru, Mooney, Puttamanster, Kirsten, Bear, Jojo Bookish, Robin, Ursula, Caitlin, Jessica, KJ, Mufflier, Celia, Alyssa, Deborah, Afra, Swamp Goblin Waifu, Sophia, Merween, Kit, Hidden Glade, Light Julie, Belle, Patrick, Anne Sophie, Callison, Vampire Antihero, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Rennie, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, and Lisa. Thanks so much for continuing to be my patrons into the new year. I've got more exciting patron videos planned for all of you, so look forward to it.